Okay, let's do Tuesday from this week. Yeah, yesterday was a rough day, dude. Yesterday wasn't great. We haven't busted open this high. I was longing right in, I think maybe that was my problem. There was a big gap underneath where I was longing, and uh we can probably just show you. I just don't want to skip ahead too much. I think I need to work on not taking losses too personally. I definitely spiraled a little bit. Just in the sense that I'm like, you get a little demoralized when you're kind of on a losing streak. I mean, the end of last week was basically net zero over the last, what I covered in the last video came out to like $25 positive, um, due to losses on Friday, I think, and then this week, Monday, just two L's in a row. Um, So, that shit can get a little demoralizing, as it were. But I just know this is going to skip ahead. I just know it's going to skip. Um, what do I want to do here? Okay. So, yeah, looking at yesterday, what I did, it came right up into this, like I had this zone marked out. It wasn't a surprise that we were coming up here, but I was longing after a wick out of that zone that kind of cracked that low. I was kind of like, it's NQ. Maybe it's just sweeping the low a little bit before going. And it went up a little bit. I mean, look, it was, we're friggin' 1 point off of our 2 points off of the actual take profit. Um, so while that was a good reaction, that was not the best. Wasn't the best place to long. And then by the time I was going short, it was a little too late. Just not the right spot. Um, So I think a little bit of patience, a little bit of paying attention to what I've laid out on the macro makes sense. So it looks like overnight's been kind of in the same area. I think still overall bullish, but let's you know let's see what actually happens here. Yeah, let's just run it. So just being careful of the move on that first, not to keep looking at yesterday. That first hour to 30 minutes. Yeah, the first 30 minutes, we hit the high of the day at 10:09, and then by 10:30, yeah, by 10:30 we didn't realize it, but that we weren't going any higher. So just being wary of that. If a move could reverse, if that initial move can reverse, it happens all the time. So am I looking for a continuation? Should I be waiting for the initial move to be confirmed with a pullback or something? Okay. Let's just keep going through this. It's a pretty big break to the downside. Okay, I think we just saw this bounce, so it might be a little bit of future sight that we have right now. It's kind of weird. See what happens up here. This could have been a good short. Well, let's see how this shakes out. You're 1 minute. You're 1 to 1. Yeah, I mean, pretty much a downtrend. I'm not gonna get in now, but I'm trying to decide if that looked like a good short. Let's just see if we can get back here. I mean, it's kind of This is a rough one because we know that I, I hate when Ninja Trader does this. It just looked, not Ninja Trader, TradingView. It just looked like it wasn't past 10 o'clock or whatever, and it just, there was this huge wick. So I know it goes up, I think, maybe. I don't really know. Let's see if this goes down though to like this supply zone or down here. Let's just wait. Let's just be patient. Yeah, you definitely could have gotten a 1-to-1 on that right here. Yep. So yeah, and this is just kind of the classic lower high, lower low, come back up to snag that, continue down at least enough to, you know, let's see if let's just see what happens at this zone down here. This could be important. It could break lower. Starting to look a little sideways. This is a pretty good IPA. Juicy double IPA. Looking like an upward move right now, but see how this bounce goes out of this zone. Breaking that. Okay. Looks like longs are pushing this. Put in an IB high because I was looking at and just an IB. That is from yesterday though. Kind of goofy. What's today's IB? 9:30 to 10. I don't know exactly how the I think this is the IB. Staying above it. Okay. I was about to say this is an interesting area, but we busted through that really easily. This could be interesting too. It's like coming back to this is like okay, POC and VWAP. This distribution looks pretty round. There's definitely an emptiness, a void right here. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen. Whoops. Yeah, let's see what happens here. I know it's tempting to go long because of the structural breaks right here. It's like flipping POC and VWAP. So if we get a decent, what does it mean that there's not a lot of volume here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If we get a decent push up, it's definitely it wicked out of this area. Hasn't quite filled it in yet. Let's see how this reacts. It's kind of comfy in that area. Yeah. How about this one? This could be turning short though because we're really not. The sellers keep pushing through these areas I'm marking out. What do we think about this? I worry that it might stop at this gap or maybe go lower to this base. I don't know. I don't love this reaction, so let's wait this out and see if it pushes or not. Could go lower to like this. You see, sometimes I still know what I'm talking about. Do you see? It went directly to the gap. That's what. So if the gap was at 1-to-1, that wouldn't be a horrible trade. But I'm thinking maybe, like, given all this downward pressure, maybe it doesn't really want to traverse this gap. So if my 1-to-1 looks like this on the other side of the gap, I might be asking for a little too much. And would you look at that? It bounced. See what happens here. Okay. See if we get a little juice to push through here. That is indeed now getting through the gap. So actually, if it traversed the gap eventually. So kind of right, kind of wrong. Uh, bu- 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 Okay, this is just like interesting. Getting past noon right now. What do we think? Do we want to look for a green candle right here, like that? It looks a little sideways to me, but this keeps pushing higher. I'm just like, does this look like the juice it needs to get across? They simply no. I'm just not convinced. Maybe I'm being a little, you know, conservative because of the recent losses, but I don't see a setup that I really like. That gap remains. They didn't really build any volume that much in this gap. It's sort of still a gap. Like, yeah, that's a nice push. See what happens if we get back down here. I didn't draw this, but that's kind of a area. Now it's just pussyfooting around. I think we're just getting like kind of range type movements. Gap looks like it's filling in, yeah. Not super confident to take it long right here either. Just like sloping down. Just look how flat the VWAP is. I don't want to extend this. Oh, I think it needs the juice down here, man. This thing is selling still. Okay. Came back down for some juice. What do we think? Is that the juice you're looking for? I also didn't draw this because it's not really a great zone. I just don't. Everything about this day is so goofy. I don't feel confident that that's going to be a really decent move down. Um, and you're at, it's kind of a range day. It's kind of a, it's not a beautiful curve, but it is a more of a thin on the edges, thick in the middle day. And you're right at the POC, so I don't think it makes sense to trade there towards low volume. And you're also not really far enough to trade back to POC, I think. This could just be a day that I'm just not interested in. What's this? What's this wick? You know, it's like the big shelf here. I'm not gonna short just because of a shelf. Um, like I think up here could be a good place to short potentially. Can we get a push up that turns into a push down, please? I mean, in itself, I don't know about that. Oh, oh. Does look like I want to try getting out of this though. Low volume. There's a little bit of a node right here. Okay, let's just see what happens up here. Yeah, I still don't like just taking a short right there. I mean, can we get a little motion, please? A little downward motion and then retrace. I don't know. I think just not ideal conditions. Okay, something like this, but this isn't beautiful. But do we want to try it for trying sake? I learned my lesson. I'm going to keep it 1-to-1 and say if we held a runner, we'd hold it down to here for the POC. Let's try this one out. If it breaks, it broke. All right. See if we can get down there if we want to turn this into a long day. We cannot get down there. Not yet. It's 3:30 and it's taking off, baby. Bam. That's the motion I'm talking about, baby. I mean, look how scalpy that scalp was down there. That's right when it stopped being a range day. Just about. All right, that is it. Well done today, guys.